Namaste, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Amazing Vedas with Dr. Pariksith Singh. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We are going to continue our line of discussion from the river to the ocean this time. And let us invite and invoke into our studio space and, of course, into the media scape or the media space, this great deity whom we call Varuna, a
Yes.
great god, a god of the waters, of cosmic law, of sovereignties, and of course the Mitra Varuna dyad that we were just
Yeah.
talking about, just as you have the Agni Soma dyad, and then we'll lead on to the Adityas, the twins, the other gods, soon. But I just wanted to say one thing before we start. That once again, the symbology or the symbolism of the Vedas is actually universal. That's our contention, and we are following Sri Aurobindo's line here. And I wanted to just throw in this. We all know Poseidon, the mighty god, the Greek god Poseidon, and Neptune, the Roman version, Neptune, the divine ruler of the waters. And of course, Dumizel said Varuna was Uranus,
Yes.
also. But here's the thing that I want to start with, frankly, another curveball, if you like, that some are suggesting that Ahura Mazda is actually Varuna. So let's leave it there. But I suggest, Dr. Singh, we'll start with your tweet. A wonderful tweet.
So it is in Hindi, so I'll translate it as I say it, and hopefully it'll come out right.
Okay.
Who is Varuna? Varuna is the deva of a vast existence, of a vast vision, generosity, freedom from all constrictions is his nature. Sri Aurobindo says that our emotions and our feelings, as they grow wide through our spiritual development, our yajna, bring a transformation in us at the very foundation of our personality. And this is Varuna. Varuna freeing us of the three bondages, three limitations in our emotions, in our heart, what he calls it, the emotional being that we have. And that is why Varuna is invoked in the second rik, right? Just early on in the Veda, he's invoked in the 7th to the 9th mantras of the second suktam. And it's beautiful. And Varuna comes with Mitra because Mitra is love, harmony, friendship, deep engagement, deep love. And Varuna is an expansion of this, widening and going beyond all horizons. And it is a very beautiful symbol of what we can do to our own personalities, how we can grow big, almost become Vishwamanav, a universal man. And water, remember, is a symbol in the Veda of consciousness and of existence. So when our consciousness grows wide and vast as the oceans, then we change. Something else changes in the world we live in. And I think that's what we need to remember about Varuna the most. How do we become free of our limitations? And this comes later in a beautiful story of Sunakshepa. But
Yes.
I'll stop there. And I'll throw the curveball right back at you.
Yeah, wonderful. See, I was thinking as you were speaking and, going back to our earlier episodes about these dyads, but we'll
Yes.
come back to that in a moment. My point was that, see, Agni and Soma, as it were,
Yes.
fire and water, or, the sun and the moon,
Yes.
that which heats and, intensifies and that which cools, they go together. So the greatness of the Veda, in my view, is how these opposites are constantly brought into play and reconciled, and later, now they've become a part of popular culture when we talk about yin and yang. But the Vedas are constantly dealing with these twins, the Ashwins we talked about a while ago. But these ideas of the two forces constantly sort of struggling with one another, but needing, that balance, that harmony, and that harmony or that balance of these great powers produces a tremendous transformation. So,
Yes.
transformation in the Vedic view is always, it's not something which is, you go out on a limb, you do something strange. No, it's actually the ability to hold almost completely opposing forces together. Now, so coming to Varuna, don't you think just as you have, let's say, Agni and Som, you have Indra and Varuna. Now,
Yes.
this is very, very clear in the Greek, mythology, if you want to call it mythology, where Zeus and Poseidon are
It's
always competing.
11:30.
They're competing, as to which hero is supported by which god and which god is more powerful. But people are missing in this story, in this narrative, they're missing this Vedic point about how these two deities are actually aspects of the same divinity, that all pervading, tremendously potent divinity, which is why we respect Swami Dayanand Saraswati so much. And I remember in our earlier debates, you had undertaken, maybe, your kids challenged you to prove that Hindus were monotheistic. And I said,
Yes.
sir, let's not go that far. Anyhow, so I think we've all moved a long way. But please, I want you to talk about this apparent, if not rivalry, this kind of tension between Indra, the wielder of the thunderbolt, the one who represents the illumined mind, and, as you said, the psychic significance of Varuna, which is all about expanding, your vitals, your emotions, expanding your being, connected with Mitra, the Agya, not the Agya chakra, but the heart chakra, right? Can you, which is, heart chakra is not the Agya chakra, right? It's, what is it called, the heart chakra?
Anahata. Anahata.
Anahata, sorry, thank you. Anahata chakra. So, how expanding the Anahata actually is about love. It's the
Yes.
force of love. So,
Yes.
so, so here is your curveball thrown back at you. Uh, Indra and Varuna, the vitals and the mental and the supramental, and the need, the psychic being coming, to the fore only when these are somehow sort of connected and harmonized.
Well, remember in the Veda, these cosmic powers are not antagonistic. They are actually there to help us. So, Varuna, if you may consider it a horizontal expansion, movement, widening, right? And Indra, if you may consider it a vertical movement, going upward, aspirational, moving up, and then Indra coming down and helping in the probably the most important blockages Indra moves, whether it's Vritra, the one, the python who is blocking our inspiration, our mind, and then even in our cells, how the light and the knowledge and wisdom is buried, and Indra frees that up. So Indra is our highest uh, elevation in mental awareness and buddhi intelligence, and Varuna is a widening, and both are needed for our growth. And the divine is not just one aspect. The problem that we often do in a mistake that we often make in our theological studies or religious studies is we take God only as transcendent. God is only above, right? Free of all this. Whereas originally, if you see, we invoke Vayu with Indra. Vayu is the life energy, and we invoke Vayu with Indra, who is our highest intelligence, the summit of our intelligence. And then the right next three riks come to Mitra and Varuna, and that widening. So these are stages of development where Varuna is, we can take it as a symbol of the consciousness that is horizontal, that expands, that's universal, and both coming together. So the development of the higher consciousness, Soma, is partaken of by Indra. Then you offer the bliss and a widening of your emotions, your heart, what is called the Hridi Samudra, the ocean of the heart. And then the intensification that happens in the third suktam, where Ashwinis come and they empower you, they move you even to a greater intensity. And then guess who comes immediately after? Indra comes again in all his glory. And then you come a combining of all the forces, all the devas come together as Vishwadeva. Now there's no competition, they're coming together. It's all one. And the realization in the seeker that all these forces can be harnessed together, can be tapped as one. And only after that, and what a beautiful thing is said, it is adruha. Vishve Deva is asridha and adruha. Asridha, that which cannot be cut, that which cannot be broken, that which cannot be penetrated, right? And adruha, they're not difficult. They are here as our facilitators. Omasa, they are here to help us, guide us. So we see, when we see Indra and Varuna, at least to me, they are complementary, they are aspects of the same divine energy, and they are both needed for our spiritual development, not just the transcendent, but also the embrace of the universe, of what is on our earth, and bringing them together. At least that's how I take it.
No, no, exactly. It's very well put. In fact, as you said, that there is the Indra, the rising up, then there is the reward, if you want to use that
Yes,
terminology, which is Soma, and then that nugget of bliss as Soma, one bindu, one drop, is offered to the Hridaya, Hridaya Samudram, or that makes the heart expand, the Anahata Chakra, as we said. And in fact, when the heart chakra expands, that power of love becomes a
yes,
universal force of attraction. And
yes,
you see such people, like even ideas of Mother Mary,
yes,
the mother of Jesus, is that universal love that is so compassionate and welcoming, to all the suffering, beings, as it were. And Kunyan, how the Buddha becomes a female when, transported across the mountains of Afghanistan. They think that you can't have a male deity who can be so compassionate. So,
yes,
so it becomes a she. It's so amazing. So that heart. Now, here's the point. Coming back to our understanding of, how all of these forces, they're not acting at cross purposes, but they're all helping each other. This is so important because as you go from the Vedic world to the Puranic world, there's actually a competition between the gods, and each Purana makes their own deity the supreme and all that. So that's why I think Swami Dayananda Saraswati was very suspicious of the Puranic imagination, and he always, yeah, he thought of it as a falling off.
yes,
So,
yes,
and why are the Vedas so important, even for the young? Because we want to create a comfort zone where the young can enter this beautiful world of wonder, of possibilities. As we saw last time, you can reshape the world through your imagination by, intensifying and invoking and expanding your own powers. But coming back to the fundamental question here that, we started with, as Sri Aurobindo says, all the deities, there's a psychic equivalent of these deities, right? So, is it true to say, would it be appropriate to say that if Indra is, I mean, the psychic equivalent of Indra is mind, higher mind, overmind, leading to the supermind? When all the powers are brought together, he bursts through in his glory, as you said, which is a very important thing because it's not only ascent. Please, for all young people, life is always a zigzag stream. Please don't think it's not an arrow, for heaven's sake. It's a spiral. You go up, you go down, and the resilience or the anti fragility that we want to build in our young is that ability to take the ups and the downs. Please don't think life is going to be a smooth ride, okay? And the Vedas show you this. Indra goes, then he comes back with enhanced powers, etc. But here's the question for you. Do you think, sir, that if Indra represents the powers of the mind, the overmind, and illumined mind, and so forth, that Varuna and the Mitra, they're actually about the vitals? Because in the Aurobindonian scheme, without the purification, the cleansing of the vitals, where is the psychic being going to emerge?
yes, yes. The emotional freedom He uses the word the emotional being, I think, for Mitra, Varuna, the four gods. So Mitra, Varuna, Bhaga, and Aryaman. And each has one aspect of our emotional being. But emotions are very deeply connected with the vital in us.
That's
So,
my point. So I'm just
yes,
trying to
yes,
correlate them as
yes,
we did last time.
yes,
That Saraswati of the Vedas with
yes,
Mahasaraswati of Sri Aurobindo. Similarly, the
yes,
entire, emotional field which these four gods, as it were, preside over, with the
yes,
Aurobindonian scheme where the vitals are so important and all of us are so all the time,
yes,
entrammeled or entangled. So, it's very important to see these correlations and the persistence of these symbols as well. That was
yes.
my basic point about Varuna. So we're almost out of time. So if you can please, give us some concluding thoughts, maybe even a verse, even a short description of Varuna and the Vedas, that would be wonderful.
See, Varuna appears in the second suktam, which is called the Vayu Suktam. And it's very interesting how it's programmatic in development. Once you have done, you've concentrated yourself, you've purified yourself in Agni, you have become Agni yourself. Then you taste Soma, you have bliss, bliss of being. And then you invite Vayu. Vayu is your prana, your vital energy. Then you invite Indra, your consciousness, your mental consciousness to awaken. And then you invite Mitra and Varuna. Mitra is friendliness, love, engagement, harmony, and Varuna, mastery of oneself, control, yet expansion. It's not just control which is narrow, it is an expansive control, which is a very unique thing about Varuna. It is a mastery of oneself, but expansively. And that is the genius of Varuna. That that water that is our being is spreading outside. And so through that, and the moment you do that, comes the cosmic order. In the eighth Rik, there's a beautiful description. Ritena Mitra Varuna, Vrita Vridha Vritasprisha. So it goes like this. Ritena Mitra Varuna Vrita Vridha Vritasprisha. And so because of the Mitra and Varuna, through the truth, we touch the truth, we grow in the truth. And that is a very beautiful. And then he says, Kritum Brihantam Mashate. You're widening, your actions become wide. And that to me gives me the essence. Kavi no Mitra Varuna. They are poets, they are seers. Kavi no Mitra Varuna. And at the end, Dakshan Dadhate Apasam. They make your job perfect. Daksha. What is the word dexterity in English that we
Dexterity,
use?
daksha. Yeah,
Daksham.
absolutely.
Apasam is not just water, but apasam is also action. And this is where you connect that cosmic existence. Apas means water, but apas means also work. And how they all come together in our beautiful symbology. That is all I wanted to bring to your attention. And Varuna, I just love Varuna because I think it is so important for all of us to grow wider and become bigger than this narrow selves that we have.
Indeed. Thank you. In fact, our selves are infinite, they're so wide, and the
Yes,
waters are so important in all, the traditions of the world because the spirit broods on the waters before
yes,
creation begins,
yes,
and
yes,
all life comes out of the waters. So, on that note, let us grow with Varuna and let us glow with Agni and
yes,
let us continue in our journey to understand, appreciate, invoke, and also to internalize the wonderful world of the amazing Vedas. Thank you, Dr. Singh. Please join us for our next episode. Follow us on X and share, like, and give us your comments. And hope to see you soon. Namaste.